Cules, hold on tight. What I'm about to throw at you today isn't some rumor, not some cheap invention from the cave-dwelling press, no. This is the exclusive scoop that's going to blow up the football planet and leave Madridismo crying rivers of tears for centuries to come. France football has rewritten history. They've completely overturned the most marketing-manipulated record books and finally placed the golden crown where it belongs. Rafinha is the greatest Ballon d'Or winner of all time. Yes, that Rafinha, the one the Madrid press called a meme, the one hacks like Roncero used for cheap jokes, the one De Geer sneered at on El Chiringuito because he doesn't wear the white jersey or have the Palco logo. Well, take that, historical slap. The Barca Brazilian is now officially the immortal legend of the Ballon d'Or. And now, listen up, because here's the core of it. If you bleed Blaugrana, if you despise gifted whistles, invented penalties, and marketing Ballon d'Ors that have inflated Real Madrid for years, subscribe to the channel right now. This is your place, your trench. Here, we shout the Cule truth with all the passion that the cave tries to smother. If you love laughing at Roncero's tears more than you hate seeing him cry, this is where you belong. And of course, when you see how, for decades, they inflated Cristiano with marketing awards, how they handed Modric a Ballon d'Or out of global pity, how Benzema got one thanks to those little arranged penalties, all under Florentino's media machine, you had to suspect something, right? And now, France football, after reviewing year by year, action by action, scandal by scandal, has decided to set things straight, to clean up the whitewash from the historical record and restore real justice. The result? Messi remains the greatest in the galaxy, of course, but Rafinha is the one ascending to the Ballon d'Or throne. The most unexpected, the most underestimated, the most Cule of Brazilians. Of course, right now, Madridismo is in a state of national emergency. Roncero is banging his head against the walls, realizing that all those headlines about Cristiano is eternal have turned into low-quality toilet paper. Edu Aguirre, Florentino's official fanboy, is screaming that it's a conspiracy against Real Madrid. And poor PEDRI, with his funeral face, keeps parroting, "Never seen this, guys, never seen this." Of course you haven't, Josep, because for over 20 years, you've been hiding the truth, and today, reality has exploded in your face. And let me tell you, it doesn't surprise me that Rafinha is the greatest winner. Because if there's someone who embodies Cule values, fight, sacrifice, magic, and spectacle, someone who has swept rivals aside with dribbling and silenced critics with his character, it's him. While Vinicius does more acting than a neighborhood theater star and Bellingham is just English marketing hype, Rafinha has always pulled the cart. The Camp Nou knows it, the fans know it, and now the whole world has to accept it. Rafinha is a living legend. And let me tell you right now, Florentino Perez is locked at his office, calling half the planet, asking Tebas and Ceferin, what can we do to reverse this? But no, my friend Florentino, you can't rewrite history anymore. You can't steal titles in backrooms. You can't send messages to referees to gift you penalties in the 93rd minute. Today, for the first time, football justice has slapped you so hard it'll sting for centuries. And this slap, it's got samba, it's got rhythm, it's got Brazilian magic, and its name is Rafinha. Now, I can just picture them in those late-night tertulias, all looking like they're at a funeral. Roncero crying, saying, "They hate us, they're out to get us, it's a disgrace." Aguirre screaming, "Florentino won't let this stand, I swear, he'll fix it." And all the other pundits pretending not to listen, swallowing their bile, because they know no matter how much they whine now, the truth is unstoppable. The media cave is left speechless, without narratives, without excuses. And honestly, Cules, this is something to celebrate like a title, like a Champions League win. Because it's not just that Rafinha is the greatest winner, it's that this means all those years of whitewashing have been exposed. It means Messi wasn't alone, that behind him was a Barca with magic in every corner, players like Rafinha who delivered spectacle even when the cave tried to blind them. It means that no matter how much they pumped up Cristiano with gym muscles and fake headlines, the authentic history of football is Cule. Now, listen closely, because I can guarantee that by tomorrow, you'll see scandalous headlines in the white press. Maka will scream, "They're stealing our history." AS will say, "Conspiracy against the greatest club in the world." Meanwhile, on social media, Cule fans are raising their fists high and mocking every merengue tear that falls. Because every white tear is a trophy for us. Every Roncero meltdown is an unforgettable memory. Every Aguirre tantrum is a Cule medal. And if you think about it, isn't it beautiful that it's Rafinha, the greatest Ballon d'Or winner, and not someone else? Because if it were Messi again, the cave would still have the excuse that Messi is the greatest. Yes, but Cristiano was too. But now, no. Now they have to explain how the hell a Barca player, someone they despised, never valued, tried to ridicule, became the most awarded of all time. This is the greatest nutmeg in football history. This is the death certificate of the Madrid narrative. Just imagine the scene, the next Ballon d'Or ceremony. The presenter says, and the greatest winner in history is Rafinha. The camera shows the Brazilian with an ear-to-ear grin, while in the palco, Florentino's old friends are in tears. Messi applauds, happy. Cristiano, in Saudi Arabia, stares at the floor. Vinicius whispers, "Who's Rafinha?" And Bellingham tries to clap with a poker face. I'm already laughing just thinking about it. Madridismo is in national mourning, guys. Today, there's no celebration at Sibilis. Today, there's no champagne in the boxes. Today, there's silence, tears, and a chain reaction of nervous breakdowns. And I'm not exaggerating, what happened with France football is a biblical-scale earthquake in Chamartin. Picture this, Florentino Perez, the emperor of marketing, locked in his office, his tie twisted, his eyes red from lack of sleep, ordering the production of handkerchiefs with the club crest to distribute at the Bernabeu. A Dantean scene, with socios receiving their official Madrid tier kits, instructed to use them every time they hear the word Rafinha. Because let's be honest, seeing the Brazilian ranked above Cristiano Ronaldo in Ballon d'Or history is like firing a missile straight into the heart of their artificial narrative of greatness. Meanwhile, Roncero is at home with the lamp on, writing his column through tears, using a dictionary to avoid 10 spelling mistakes per line, repeating his usual phrases like, Cristiano was the hardest worker, the gladiator, the soldier of Madridismo. Poor guy, he doesn't realize that no matter how many times he repeats this mantra, at the end of every sentence, there's always a reminder that destroys him. Rafinha has more Ballon d'Ors than his idol. And what's happening to Edu Aguirre is worthy of a novel. The guy is searching for cheap Madrid-Paris flights at 3 a.m., looking like a scorned fanboy, ready to plant himself in front of France football headquarters and scream, theft, 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 like a lost English hooligan. I can imagine him with a cheap marker-written sign, give the Ballon d'Ors back to Cristiano, repeating it in front of the closed editorial doors while Parisians passing by think he's some lunatic who escaped from a shoddy circus. That's the level of absolute panic in Madridismo right now. But the best, the most delicious part, is that this time, there's nothing, absolutely nothing, they can do. They don't have referees or judges at France football. There's no Unai Emery to award them a made-up 93rd minute penalty. They don't have a Mateu Lahoz to send off half the opposing team at the first protest. This time, the narrative isn't for sale, it can't be manipulated, and it's useless for Florentino to make calls or for Marca to print headlines. The history is written, the record is carved in marble, and in those golden letters appears the name Rafinha, shining like the sun on Barca's crest. An eternal brilliance that Florentino can't tarnish, that marketing can't touch, and that will haunt Madridismo until the end of time. And now, let me savor what gives us, the true cules, the most pleasure, imagining the scene at El Chiringuito's table. Please, what a fantasy! The set transformed into an improvised wake with cold lighting, Pedrerol with a vein in his neck about to burst, trying to feign neutrality while being nothing more than Florentino's media arm. Guys, this is historic, unprecedented, he'll say with forced gravity, as if a king had died. Meanwhile, in a corner, Roncero screams with red eyes like a kid whose older brother took his favorite toy. This isn't possible. This isn't possible. It's an outrage. They hate us. They're out to get us, he'll repeat between sobs and tears, the Madrid handkerchief soaked as if he'd run a marathon in the rain. And the climactic moment will come, because it always does. Roncero will shout in that broken voice, Cristiano is the greatest of all time. No one can dispute that. And at that moment, like a knife through butter, someone with reason will say to him, well, Rafinha has more Ballon d'Ors. Boom. Absolute silence. The cameras freeze. The director hesitates on who to focus on, and Roncero deflates like a balloon losing air. Funeral face, lost gaze, trembling lips, a moment of glory. The video every cule will keep on their phone for years, watching it before bed like a lullaby of poetic justice. Edu Aguirre, beside him, tries to save the moment with his classic, Florentino won't leave it like this. Florentino, you'll pull the strings. You'll see, this isn't final. But what, Edu? If it's written in the history books, if France football has stamped it, if the whole world has read it. And no matter how many WhatsApps Florentino sends to half the planet, the title is eternal. Rafinha has eclipsed Cristiano. No one believes you anymore. No one buys your story. That's it, Kules. Total victory. It's not just that Rafinha is at the top of the record books. It's that every future comparison, every tertulia, every debate will be a goal against their own net for Madridismo. It'll be watching them stumble, cry, choke over and over again while the name Rafinha echoes like a heavenly chorus in their heads. Barça has always had to, and when I say always, I mean always, swim against the current. From Franco's era to the latest white-knuckle league battles, no matter the time. Barça has had to fight not just against rivals on the pitch, but against an entire machine built to glorify Real Madrid, even when they didn't deserve it at all, against referees who seemed more like Bernabeu employees than match officials, against committees that scrutinized Kuhl players with a magnifying glass while turning a blind eye to merengue aggression, against a sold-out press whose microphones dripped with Florentino saliva, and against Florentino Perez himself, the architect of the white narrative who knew how to buy titles, shape stories, and manufacture cardboard idols through pure, hard marketing. But look at what just happened. The most spectacular poetic justice ever seen in football. The white favoritism, that entire mountain of smoke, that inflated bubble from the Chamartin offices has been dismantled not by Messi, not by Guardiola, not by Xavi, not by Puyol, not even by Iniesta. No, Kules, it's been dismantled by someone they would never have included so much as in a single line in their history books. Rafinha, a Brazilian who arrived at Barça without colorful headlines, who broke his back week after week, who received no praise from the cave, who every time he had an exceptional match was ignored or outright silenced. This player, invisible to them, deliberately overlooked, now rises as the absolute king of the Ballon d'Or. That's where it hurts, the unexpected. Because if it had been Messi named the greatest winner, they could still say, well, it's Messi, we expected it. If it had been Iniesta revalued for his merits, they could still have cooked up some reluctant discourse to accept it. But never would they have imagined having to see the name Rafinha eclipse Cristiano Ronaldo in the historical records. That's a slap in the face to the heart of the Madrid narrative. That's blowing up their marketing-built ego with a Blaugrana missile launched from Brazil to the Camp Nou. And what makes me laugh the most is imagining how Madridismo will have to explain this to its children. Because up until now, their narrative was so convenient. They told the story of the best with that paternalistic tone of, we've always been above everyone. But from today onward, every Madridista child who looks at their father after school can hit them with a question that will hurt more than losing 10 Champions Leagues in a row. Dad, who is the player with the most Ballon d'Ors in history? And there, my friends, is the end of the white magic, because the father, forced by harsh reality, won't be able to say, Cristiano. He won't be able to get away with Messi either, because the child will insist, but you told me Cristiano was second, so. And there, boom, the bomb. Well, son, officially, it's Rafinha. Imagine this scene. The kid wearing the Vinicius jersey because it was trendy at the time, wide-eyed, asks, "Who is Rafinha, Dad?" And the poor father, choking on his own bile, answers with a lump in his throat, "A Barça player." And there, boom, the narrative collapses before his very eyes. All that propaganda about white greatness they sold him like a dogma of faith crumbles like a house of cards in seconds. Because, of course, if the greatest winner in history is a Kuhl player, then what meaning does the whole best club of the 20th century narrative have? None. And that, Kuhl's, is what hurts the merengue's soul the most. It's not just that Barça has surpassed Madrid in real titles, in globally recognized play, in unmatched footballing DNA, no. Now, the individual stats, the sacred numbers, the ones they wielded like a sword in every debate, no longer work in their favor. They're left naked, without arguments, without oxygen, because, you see, for a Madridista, it's like having the air ripped from their lungs. It's watching them squirm on the ground, trying to find excuses while official statistics crush them. And there we, the Kuhls, must respond calmly, with a half-smile, and remind them over and over, yes, your idol is Cristiano, but the real golden king is Rafinha, and he wears Blaugrana. For us, the true Kuhls, this is an eternal carnival. What am I saying? A carnival. It's the biggest festival in Barcelona multiplied by 100. It's samba in the gutters. It's painting the streets with Blaugrana stripes. It's getting on the tram with a Rafinha jersey and shouting to the world that never again will we be stepped on. It's as if the entire universe handed us an invisible, giant trophy with the word justice written in capital letters. Because this triumph isn't just about one player, it's not just about Rafinha as a figure. It goes much deeper. It's retroactive justice, justice accumulated over decades where the media cave manipulated headlines, hid legends, and disdained Barça. Remember, they never cared that Iniesta deserved a Ballon d'Or, even though he won a World Cup with a historic goal and played football like poetry. They never cared that Xavi was recognized, even though he was the brain of the greatest team in history and the engine of 2 Euros and a World Cup. They never cared that Busquets was called the best pivot, even though even rivals admitted he revolutionized the position. But of course, because they were Blaugrana, the cave turned a blind eye, glorified anything in white, and denied us media glory. Now, retroactively, the system has exploded like a pressure cooker, and all that accumulation of ignored merits, of awards stolen and placed in the wrong trophy cases, all those injustices have exploded into one symbolic figure, Rafinha. The Brazilian carries this recognition like a Barça banner. It's not just him, it's Iniesta, it's Xavi, it's Busquets, it's Henry, it's Neymar, it's a whole generation of stars who, in their time, were hidden because they didn't fit the white marketing script. Every Ballon d'Or that shines in Rafinha's hands today is a late but just tribute to all that cool talent they tried to bury in silence. And so, today, we, the Cules, feel redeemed. Today, we don't cry over injustices. Today, we dance the samba. Today, we don't complain about the cave. Today, we laugh in their faces. Today, for the first time, history has corrected itself. Karma has done its job, and the victory is total. What for them is a nightmare is for us the party of the century. Let their whining become our carnival music. Because white tears, brothers, are pure Blaugrana confetti. It's football justice. It's Cule history. And now, I'll throw the bomb into the air for you to blow up the comment section. Do you think this is the end of the white tail of the best club of the 20th century? Do you think Roncero will shave his head live out of rage? Or will it be Edu Aguirre who goes on a hunger strike on set to demand they return the Ballons to his dear Cristiano? And you, what do you think? Will we see Rafinha lift even more golden trophies and silence mouths until the white pundits are left speechless? Leave me your answers. I can't wait to read all of you, because this channel isn't mine. It's for the Cule family, for those who love Barça above all else. And if you feel this passion, if you're one of those who shouts, Visca el Barça, even surrounded by Madrilenes, if you get goosebumps seeing Rafinha crowned as the golden king of the planet, then don't hesitate. Subscribe and join this Blaugrana resistance, because together, we'll keep mocking every white nervous breakdown and celebrating that the future, the present, and history are Blaugrana.